Kyler Murray as the favorite to win Rookie of the Year, that according to Fox Bet. Recency bias. C, who has a better shot to win Rookie of the Year, Jones or Kyler?
Well, this is the thing. I know with the Cardinals, they're going to throw close to 300 yards almost every game. I mean, Cliff Kingsbury, and talking to Larry Fitzgerald, he's very, very happy with the system. And they're able to get open, and Kyler can flat out just throw it. So I think he's going to be in a situation where he's going to compile a lot more yards. They don't need a running game. David Johnson has not helped him out. I believe with Barkley being hurt, that it's going to hurt the overall development of Daniel Jones. So I would still lean to Kyler because the system, once they get behind, he's going to compile a whole bunch of yards, a whole bunch of touchdowns. I don't think he's going to throw touchdown to interception the way quarterbacks typically do as rookies. Might throw 15 touchdowns, 15. I don't believe Kyler's going to do that. So I would say Kyler has the edge because he's just going to put up so many yards. I believe he'll throw for at least 3,500, 3,800 yards this year.
Well, so Arizona obviously took a step back this week. They played their worst game of the season against Carolina, both sides of the ball. And I think that, combined with how well Daniel Jones plays, that speaks to your recency bias. It might not be relevant for this conversation. Just a quick note, Hollywood Brown should be the favorite. I think he'd be the smart bet right now if a non-quarterback's allowed to win the award. But set that aside for a moment. People maybe overreacted to the moment Daniel Jones was drafted. And now, in faster time than I can remember, people, I think, are overreacting in the other direction. Folks were rescinding their Daniel Jones predictions in the preseason, let alone how well he played in the regular season. See, you always poke fun that I steal things from you on the radio show I do. Man, you had Giants fans call the radio show last night saying, other than Mahomes and Deshaun Watson, not a quarterback in the league I'd trade Daniel Jones for. Not Dak, not Baker, not Goff, not Kyler. Okay. He was great in week one. I cannot take anything away from him. If he proves me wrong, I will be the first to admit, hey, man, missed on him. I've missed on quarterbacks before. I thought Johnny Manziel was going to be great in this league. I've missed on quarterbacks before. But 1 week does not make a career. We sat here with Coach Mangini last year. We're 12 weeks. For Patrick Mahomes, he was like, let's pump the brakes, let's wait. This is 1 week against a bad defense in a game that he would have had the same game and they could have lost it if Tampa simply makes a 34-yard field goal. I don't think Kyler Murray's going to have a great season, but I'm also not ready. And it's whether you think Kyler's going to be great or not. Don't have a great offensive line. Don't have a great running game. He's going to have some structural disadvantages. But I'm not ready to anoint Daniel Jones having a great season either. He had a great first game, and you have reason for optimism. But I'm not yet ready to change how I felt about him a few months ago.
Yeah, I mean, didn't Marcus Mariota also play the Bucs in his first debut, have an amazing game?
I think he had 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, and then everything kind of just sort of leveled itself out. Who are you more excited for? Who's got a better future built around them, you know, better pieces built around them to succeed?
Well, I would have to say the Giants because they have Saquon. I mean, he's an outstanding running back. He is going to be one of the top runners in the league, say 8 to 10 years. He's a great team guy. He's not a me guy, so I think that helps stabilize. The Giants have made such poor decisions. I'm apprehensive. So you think, okay, the Bidwells in Arizona, the Giants and the Mara family, the Tisches in here in New York. Like, is that really a battle? But I would just say because they've done it longer, I don't know how much ground Steve Keim has, the general manager there in Arizona. I would have to go with the stability of the Giants. And the Giants made a great pick. Like, if he continues, he has the type of skills. You can see him throwing the ball. You can see the game's not moving too fast for him, that he is an NFL starting quarterback. Now, I would just slow down a little bit. Jersey sales this weekend out the roof. First time, I think, Patty Mahomes since he became a starter. Daniel Jones, he rivaled Patty Mahomes this weekend.
For jersey sales?
For jersey sales.
Yeah, listen, people are excited. And Giants fans, you should be excited. This is probably the most hope Giants fans have had since early in the 2012 season. When you were coming off the second Super Bowl, and it's like, hey, how good can we be? It's been a long time in the wilderness with Eli Manning. I'm not trying to dampen the excitement. But you don't have Saquon the next probably 6 weeks, maybe longer. That's going to hurt his ability to be effective. Golden Tate comes back in a couple weeks. But both these quarterbacks are trying to be one of ones in NFL history. We've never had a quarterback Kyler's height succeed in the NFL. We've never had a quarterback with Daniel Jones's college production succeed in the NFL. They might both break the mold, but they are both trying to break the mold. One, because of size, despite amazing college production. One, against college production, despite prototypical height and measurables. We'll see how it plays out. I think they're both going to have tough weekends to come, maybe as soon as this weekend.
All right, let's move on. Talk some Cleveland Browns. After a preseason of hype this season, the offense averaging just 16 points per game, tied for 27th in the league, and off to a 1-2 start. Pick your reason why. That offensive line, Baker Mayfield, the play calling. Well, after Sunday's loss to the Rams, Freddie Kitchens said he alone was to blame. When asked yesterday, he was planning to give up play calling duties. He said, quote, "That's not even feasible." See, how can the Browns offense get better?
Well, last year we had a tremendous amount of questions when they fired Hugh. And then we thought, oh, okay, Todd Haley is going to take over, run the offense. We're confident that his move didn't work. He ends up getting fired, too, the same day. Freddie Kitchens, he's a running back coach. They named him the play caller, and I didn't know a whole bunch about Freddie Kitchens. It's not like he had this long resume from this great coaching tree that he had come from. And seeing what they did, immediately, they changed that offense. The offensive line, they allowed them to become more physical. They got Chubb the ball. They started running the ball. They started not targeting Jarvis Landry 12 times a game. That dropped down to 7. I was like, these are some of the basics ingredients to trying to solidify an offensive football team, make it simple for their rookie quarterback, spread the ball around, and it had tremendous promise. It had so much promise that in the interview search, Freddie Kitchens won that. And John Dorsey, I have more confidence in John Dorsey because he's a known commodity compared to Freddie Kitchens. So I appropriated my faith to Dorsey into Freddie Kitchens. But if I was him, and as far as the locker room's concerned, I wouldn't give up the play calling because he's surrendering power then. And if he does that, what's he going to specialize in?
Right.
Like on the sideline, hey, I'm just a game manager. Like, I'm going to manage the timeouts. I'm going to manage when we go for 2. I'm going to do that. No, he did a good job calling plays last year. Let's not overreact to a couple very questionable calls during the game that they were overmatched from an offensive line standpoint, and I believe he didn't want to drop Baker back one more time on that 4th down, and I believe he had a little brain cramp, and he called that draw on 4th and 9, which I believe hurt his play calling when they got into the red zone, in the plus 10 territory, and they had 4 downs, and they didn't throw it one time there. So he's a young play caller. You make mistakes on the job. Just like players, coaches make mistakes. You hope that they're not as blaring as the couple mistakes that he made in Sunday night's game against the Rams. But he is in training. Like, we can't expect a guy to be an NFL head coach the first time he's been a head coach, and he's going to have it perfect the first time. Even our most experienced coaches that we have, the people that we respect, outside of Belichick, we got Tomlin, Pete Carroll, Andy Reid. All 3 of those guys, we have been critical of them. In-game management, play calling, time management. Let's go back. Tomlin. Oh, yeah, now they're a throwing team with no defense. Pete Carroll, you threw the ball in the goal line in the Super Bowl.
And
you
Andy
idiot.
Andy Reid
gets historically has been bad in the playoffs. So let's just slow a little bit on Freddie. He is learning on the job.
And you mentioned, aside from Belichick, I think Browns fans would say Belichick had some issues his first go-around, even before he became Bill Belichick. If you take the play calling away from Freddie Kitchens, he's a man without a country. And that's why I'm going to assume Freddie Kitchens used the exact word he meant to use there, feasible. He didn't say it's not likely. He didn't say that's foolish. Not feasible means it can't happen. We do not have a protocol in place for that to happen. It's impossible because that is what he was hired for. And this is sometimes you do. I feel like this is what happened with Arizona, with Cliff Kingsbury. They hired him to call plays. They wanted him to call plays, and they made him the head coach to do it. I think in Cincinnati, Zach Taylor, similar situation. We hired you to be an offensive mastermind. We gave you the head coaching job because if we didn't, someone else would. And so that is the same thing with Freddie Kitchens. He might be in way over his head, but you can't 3 weeks in take away the primary reason you gave him this job as the head coach.
Yes, lean on the rest of the staff. All right, we know that the defensive coordinator, Steve Wilks, he's coming over after being a head coach for a short period of time. Lean on him. The in-game management stuff, lean on the rest of your staff that they can relieve you of some of those things. Critical situations, 4th down, 2-point conversions, and calling all those plays. Freddie's got to keep doing that, Jenna.
And rely on the fact that you have one of the most skilled offenses in the league as far as positions and talent goes. You just have to figure out, as he said in his own words, how to deal with it and how to spread the ball around. All right, coming up, who's looked better so far this season, the Cowboys or the Packers? That's ahead. This is First Things First.